Time and circumstance were not sympathetic to oil and coal, and by 2040, both had faded from our energy systems. Many of the big oil projects I wrote about in such excitement in those early days never took off or were half built and then abandoned. Now it was time to face the long-term consequences of the 4 invasions of minerals, agricultural land, carbon markets, and power exports. The evolution of Eastern Africa's energy system moved in 2 very different directions. In one, there was a large-scale clean energy revolution, a world of global business serviced by a low-carbon economy and energy system, efficiently meeting the needs of those ready to accept and pay for what it delivers. It was Prof's dream come true. The other system is a mishmash of whatever works. The poorest can no longer afford any of it. Many of these people have been pushed out of their land in rural areas and even in cities. Slums are strung with dangerous and illegal electric wires. The working poor cope with cheap solutions, solar and wind installations that rarely work long enough to pay off the debts used to buy them. They rely on charitable efforts to give them more efficient wood stoves or create methane gas from urban sewage and toilets. They rarely succeed. For the middle class, there are multiple renewable energies on offer, including a few local technologies that show promise. Most renewables are small-scale and off-grid, rarely integrated with each other. Some work well, others are cheap second-hand technologies from other continents. The weak ones rarely last. Frankly, we're nothing but a dumping site for obsolete and shoddy goods, from cars to solar panels. Good business for the middlemen, but not for buyers. The global energy transition to a low-carbon world is thriving in 2050. But here in our region, the transition is not working for most people. All these changes and invasions have created a queer patchwork across the land. I have pictures of the ugly scars of mining operations, areas barren of indigenous plants, birds, and animals. We are biologically impoverished, with a wealth of Eastern African life reduced to an ancient, magical mythology. I have pictures showing vast grey areas where shanties spill out of the old city centres, next to wealthier neighbourhoods boasting a rich garden green canopy. And I have contrasting pictures of rural areas with tidy crops parcelled out in neat lines. The rivers here are often a bright sterile green of fertilized algae which sucks out the oxygen fish need. All these busy enterprises have private security firms keeping order and reducing theft. They say it's necessary to keep our own people safe. So who counts as our own people? My last discussions with Prof kept asking this question. We'd joked that all our fellow Africans who run these businesses are like the old colonial tribal chieftains. They control the land and decide who gets which benefits. They've signed the international agreements that handed our region over to outsiders, even though our ancestors taught us to liberate ourselves and control our own destiny. As for workers and professionals, we learned to be docile and had seen enough violence not to want any more. Many of us want to leave, but where can we go? Who will take us in? So that's the book. Our world is enjoying this fragile new world order, this development. Me, I find it hard to celebrate what I now see.